Oh, there we are. Happy Wednesday. It's November 9th. I just started talking to myself while I was not even on the screen. Welcome to another edition of Wake Up Legendary. If you don't know me, my name is Matt, and we go live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we bring on a new guest, somebody from our community or somebody who's running a business model that we believe is a great business model to run online. For us, we teach the core four business models: affiliate marketing, digital marketing, courses and consulting, and events and masterminds. So no matter what your specialty is, no matter what we call it a niche is, we'll teach you how to take that business and grow and scale it online using the power of things like social media or sales funnels and email automations and things like that. So the point of this show is we like to bring on guests from our community typically. And here, let me switch my. There we go. Typically from our community, and who are finding success, who are taking action and building social media profiles of hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of followers, who are going live, who are generating leads and sales. And today we've got, I think, a current or former bus driver who's building an online business. And her name's Catherine. She's calling in from Tennessee. Let's bring on Catherine. What's up? What's up?
Hey,
Welcome
let's
to the
just do
live.
it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to run out to newsstands and grab your copy.
I tried yesterday to find one.
Well, nice. Welcome on to the show. I'm pumped that you're here, and I'd love to tell your story about how you're a bus driver, not very tech savvy, you said,
No.
and that's a beautiful thing because that gives a lot of people confidence. Because most people who come into our industry aren't super tech savvy at all. But tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you find Legendary?
You know, we're getting ready to retire next year. And with the way everything was going in the world, I said, I need to find something just to supplement a little bit extra of what's going on. So I was just looking for something that I could, have a little extra money, a few $100s a month on TikTok, social media, just scrolling through. And I saw this person saying, wow, on and on and on. And I just went, okay, watched it for a while, watched and said, you know what? I can do this.
Hmm.
So that's how it all started. That's exactly how it all started.
Wow.
It was, I took the $7 course, obviously, and it was, the information I gained from that was amazing.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going full force. So that's what I did.
So, are you the type of person to like tune into TikTok or something? And because you said something really interesting, you said I could do this. Have you? Is that a pattern for you? Like, do you do that with other stuff in life? Like, yeah, I could do that.
Well, here's the whole thing, that word challenge, someone's going to challenge me. I'm going to do it. There's no holding me back.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to do it. Look,
Cool.
this is hysterical. I was so nervous making my first TikTok. Like I've never posted on anything, never. Social media, nothing. I mean, I had accounts to scroll to see what's going on. I was so nervous. My husband picks up his phone and it's hysterical. He picks it up and he starts recording. He says, what? I'm going to show her how to do this. I hit the plus button and just going on and on and on. And I said, okay, if he can do it, then I can do it.
You
So
just need somebody to challenge you. That's all.
exactly.
Funny.
So
Wow, crazy. So cool. So cool. So you get started with the challenge, you start learning, the challenge is a challenge for you.
oh, it
Um,
is.
but you start creating videos, and I think this is really powerful because my guess is you had never made a talk video before, I'm guessing.
No.
Okay. Did you just start creating them at home? Were you like on the bus? Are you still driving bus now?
I am.
Like
I
you're
am
getting ready
still.
to retire?
I am. I work 4 to midnight. Um,
Cool.
it's it's a great job,
Hmm.
and I do enjoy it, but the mental stress of it is can be extremely challenging.
Sure. Yeah,
So.
I think that makes sense to me. And so you've got and the beautiful part about building a side hustle in a place where you have a job, which I think is really cool, is, it lowers some of the intensity a little bit. Sometimes I feel a bit of intensity of like, oh my god, like my world's ending. I got laid off from my job, or and I'm going all in on this. And so for some people that works, but for other people, I think it's a healthier, maybe more stable situation where they're like, no, I'm driven, I'm motivated, but also I have a little bit of income coming in where I can figure this out, and I don't have to place a big bet. Like, everybody glorifies placing a bet on themselves, which I think is great too. You should
Mhm.
bet on yourself out of anybody else. But there's also wagers, in betting. You could bet $50 or you could bet the whole house. You can go all in poker. And
Right.
sometimes given the hand that you're dealt, you kind of got to look at it and be like, okay, uh, I'm new to this, or maybe my hand's not pocket aces. Maybe I don't go all in on this hand, and I think that's part of when you come into the online space. I think it's really wise for people to identify. Okay, I'm new to social media. I'm new to digital marketing. I'm new to whatever, and it's not to say I can't do it, but it's also to say, hey, it's probably really smart for me to like keep my job. 'Cause honestly, Catherine, I've had people who have come online and literally, like, just been like, "Yeah, I just quit my job, like, I'm gonna make, 6 figures this year," and I'm like, "Well, cool, but also, like, can you get that job back? Because I need to make money in 30 days." I usually ask them, "What's gonna happen on day 31?" You know? Let's plan for that because, sometimes this takes a little bit of time. So,
Well,
let's talk about, you and your journey creating content, and how do you go about that? And how do you stay consistent? Like, from the moment you created that first video, you hit post, to now all the way to, you're creating content, you're driving leads, you're making sales. What's that process, and how do you, create content?
I'll tell you, at 58, I never thought I would be doing this. So I just, at any age, it can be done. I started my first actual post was a picture of a coffee table with a cup of tea on it, a book, and a candle because it was a rainy day because I didn't know what to do and I was panicking. And as you continue to keep making the videos, it gets easier and easier and easier. Staring at a screen that you're not talking to anybody, you know,
Mm.
and as you go back and look at them, sometimes I look at them going, really, I can't repurpose this. But you get better and better. And,
Mm.
most of my videos are either done right here. I mean, they're right in my house. I just, the big thing, and it's taken me a while to learn it, is just to be yourself
Mm.
because everyone wants to see just you and what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing, they just want to see you.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Wow, what a weird phenomenon. Like, what is that? Sometimes I think of it like, I mean, this might sound a little dark, but sometimes I think of it kind of like voyeurism, like, like looking through the shades into somebody's house or something. Like,
Yeah.
there's this human like desire to kind of see the real person. I'm not
Mhm.
talking about like, you know, people being naked or peeping or anything like that. I
Right.
just mean like it's sort of like, what's this, what makes this person tick? What makes this person unique? What makes this person who they are? This is interesting. Um, what do you mean in your content by be yourself? What does that mean to you?
Let people know who you really are.
Hmm.
Um, and it's your story, it's your journey, And I'm at that point right now where, we all have a journey. We all have a past.
Right.
Um, and some are better than others. Um, it's been difficult for me to get to that part of the full, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm
Hmm.
piecing it all together, um, because it's been a tough journey for me. It's
Yeah.
been a tough journey.
Yeah. 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 And to get to where you're at today, and you're creating I mean, it is a little bit, I mean, think about you're just, I mean, you've been creating content for a few months now, but
Correct.
for you to have now almost 6,000 followers,
Mhm.
when somebody's basically brand new, they're just getting going. Sometimes people discount the fact that they've got 6,000 followers. That's crazy, you know? And I do think we live in a really interesting, super opportunistic time where there's so much opportunity for people to build huge followings that it's almost overwhelming. Um, as you let people see you and
Mhm.
discover you, what results or what have you experienced in doing that? Um, what outcomes have come of that?
The engagement of talking to people,
Okay.
is huge,
Hmm.
because once they can, um, feel comfortable with you,
Hmm.
the engagement and communication with them is huge.
Hmm.
They trust you. They believe in you.
Yes, yes, yes. So rather than just a bunch of people looking on and
Correct.
sort of just kind of, oh, I've got followers, whatever.
Mhm.
Now people are kind of going into like, hey, tell me more, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Is that what you mean?
Correct. Yes.
Hmm.
Tell me
It's
what you're
interesting.
doing. How are you doing it? I've got a lot of, thank yous for posting, like, because I'm doing a lot of talking now,
Mm.
instead of just my face.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you for telling me that, and I really needed that today. And
Mhm.
um, that sort of engagement with people it makes me feel good,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then I'm able. It makes me feel good, because if they're struggling somewhere, no matter what it is, because I'm very motivational too. You know, again.
Yeah. It's interesting. Uh, if I could just tell you something. So it's interesting as I look at your TikTok page, and you post videos about grandmas, or you'll
Mhm.
even post about your age.
Yes.
Um, and one of the interesting things that I just got this feeling, like I don't always get this feeling, but I just got this feeling kind of looking at it and scanning it. That's what I do all the time when I look at people's, or when they come on Wake Up Legendary. And I just had this thought that, this, you feel a bit like you're a leader to that community. And it's funny that you said, I do some stuff that's motivational too. Like, I almost feel like it's a combination of a few things. And I don't really know what exactly I'm picking up on. Maybe it's just intuition. But um let me show you. Let me share my screen real quick. I thought what was interesting is just that, as I look at things like, you know, grandmas are clapping back about what society expects. And then a good bit of talk about the recession, right?
Mhm.
I'm over 50, right? And what I think is important when you talk about being yourself and you talk about, man, this is really powerful, is there's a whole group and a whole community of people out there who are your age, who are approaching
Mhm.
retirement, who are looking at this recession and they're just like, oh my gosh, what happened to my 401k? This is insane. All this stuff. And they're sort of looking out and waiting to discover a leader. And so now when you make that shift and transition to really being yourself, to really being who you are, they kind of look at that as not just somebody out there who's making TikTok videos about, you know, how millionaires are made during a recession, but they're also, which is great, by the way, that's great content. But also they're getting a real dose of you, they're getting a real dose of a leader who can help guide them, or they can find some sort of middle ground, or can find some sort of North Star to look at and sort of, where am I supposed to go in all of this?
And that's really what I want to do,
Mm.
um, because, like I said, my pass and all that's coming out. There's a lot of things going on in the next few months that I've got going on, but that's exactly what I'm gearing towards. I want these people, whether they be 20 or 80, to know that you can chase your dreams, follow them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your age. Just continue to keep going one day at a time.
Yep.
And yes, we all have our setbacks. Oh, trust me, I have failed forward. I don't know how many times. I can't even count that high. But yes, this is where I'm gearing at. I want people to, again, I want them to know who I am so that I
Yep.
can help them do what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I want it to happen overnight? Of course, everyone does, but all good things take time.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that makes sense. And your content creation, I don't know what it is. It just kind of looks and feels. Um, you do a good combination, I think, of a couple things. One, you have videos in your timeline on TikTok that are more what I call growth style videos. So videos that are geared towards really grabbing somebody's attention. Has nothing to do with you really. It's just
right.
mostly like teaching something or sharing a powerful idea, and that helps grow a channel. That helps the channel size increase and grow your audience, grow your followers.
Mhm.
And then you also have videos that are really geared towards sharing more about you and your journey and your story, and also uh, what motivation, what's motivating you, what's empowering you, that kind of thing. So I think that I think that what I get from, and that's usually a magical combination. If I see people who are making sales, their business is growing, and I go look in their social media, there's usually a good combination of that. Sometimes people are way more heavy on the growth videos and nothing from their story, which means usually to me that means there's maybe a bit of a lack of leadership because they're or vulnerability, because
Mhm.
it's safer to make a video about how to make $50 an hour on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
absolutely.
when you've got something like you where you've also combined that with, because you have to have that end. You have to have something that's going to stir up and build a following. Otherwise, you got nobody to listen to your vulnerable leadership moments. Your following doesn't exist. And so then, as you know, so maybe you do one of those and then 10 or 20 videos that's more like, hey, I'm going to share what's really on my mind. I'm going to share an idea that I think is really powerful. And then,
Right.
you do another growth style video. But yeah, I was just struck by the feeling I got looking, and it's no wonder that you've got followers and also you've got a lot of people engaging. Your engagement numbers are really good, is because you've got all of these videos that are talking about, hey, here's what's coming. We've got an upcoming recession. This is when millionaires are built, and you're also
Right.
speaking directly to the comments of people who are, what if I'm over 50? Like, could I do some sort of online business thing? Is this possible? Which I also think is a great thing to do, which is to speak directly to your audience. Speak, exactly who your species is. You're speaking right to them, directly to their face,
Right.
which is powerful. So, how long have you been creating content on TikTok? How long has it been now?
About 5 months. About
So
5 months.
you're averaging about 1,000 followers a month. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure your first month was maybe a tad slower,
Right.
and you kind of go through ups and downs because you get a video that gets
Mm.
viewed a lot, you get
Yeah.
a bunch of views.
Yeah. You know, I'm one of the ones that I don't focus on, excuse me, how many people are watching or how many people are this and that. I
Hmm.
I really focus more on just putting it out there because in my theory, if I have 3 people
Yep.
and all 3 of those people like what I'm doing, that's what I want.
Yep.
So, to be honest with you, I don't really pay too much attention to that.
Cool.
You
Good.
know,
What a healthy way to look at things.
I
In
guess
a
I don't
world that
know. It seems
glorifies
to be
that.
working good.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of the. I wish I had done this 20 years ago.
Sure. Of
I
course.
wouldn't be a city bus driver today.
Right. 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 But also, it's a miracle that you happened to find us and find this idea when you did, because
Oh yeah,
the most it is the most opportune moment I could ever see or think of in the history of the world to build an online business, or to build a business that you can have freedom with, which is just crazy. It's honestly, it's bonkers. Um, when you are you creating content like 3 to 5 times a day, or like one time a day, or how often do you make videos?
well, I do about 3 a day.
Okay,
And I'm sticking to 3 a day just
cool.
because of when it comes to the posting of the videos.
Mhm.
um, I try to post them about the same time, but because of my schedule, um, with working at night, I get certain breaks. And when I say breaks, it could be a minute here or there. So I've got to have everything ready to hit post and hope that internet's working.
Right.
Um, I mean, a lot of times they can be all over the place, which isn't the greatest thing.
Sure.
Um, but it's usually within an hour or so of when I would be, posting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
just it just depends on it depends on what I can do. So
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that a 3 a day kind of thing sounds, like pretty much what most people do. They'll do maybe 5 if they're really ambitious, but usually it's about 1 to 3 a day. I
right.
think that it's just a powerful. How do you get your idea? I mean, it's so much content. Like that's like what, almost 100 videos a month. You've been doing it for 5 months. For people who are out here who have never made a video, how do you get the ideas?
Well, sometimes I'm just driving and I think of this idea and go, oh man, I need to stop. I need to stop so I can voice something in so I can remember it. Otherwise, I totally forget it. Um,
Yep.
but also, um, you know, I model other people. Find someone that you really like what they're doing and model them. Put it in your own words.
Mm.
Once you find someone that you like and you see what they're posting, um, to me, anyways, it's easier for me to go, oh, you know what? I like that, but you know what? I like it this way. So you can get ideas just from finding someone that you really like
Mm.
and modeling their ideas.
Totally. And also you can find people both inside and outside of your niche to get ideas and to get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do not need to just stick to your specific niche. So
Yes. Well, that's interesting to me because one of the things that I think is fascinating is how I just feel like back in the day when I was first getting started, it was so hard to find good examples. Oh, I might be frozen.
yeah, you look like you are.
I think I'm frozen. Hang tight. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I can. There
Oh,
you go.
I'm back. Okay. I feel like my face just froze. On my screen, my face was frozen
It did.
like
That would do a
um
great video, Matt.
we'll screen grab that. Um no, back in the day when I was getting started, I feel like my like figuring out how to create content was so hard. And now you can come online, you can go and search a hashtag on TikTok and just have endless ideas of videos that you can
Mhm.
make. There's one video that a guy made over a year ago,
Mhm.
where he talks about making $18 an hour or something from Apple
Yeah.
from home.
Yep.
And he has
Uh,
an apple on his finger and he flips it back. And I've seen people do that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I've seen people hold iPads and say that
mhm.
and throw the iPad. I've seen, all kinds of crazy stuff, and all from just one little idea, which that guy, he didn't even make that up. He just got it from somebody. And that video across the whole internet
Right.
has probably been made thousands of times by many different people.
Oh,
Um,
yes. I've seen
and
them.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And then what happens is people get all this engagement and attention, and they start generating leads and sales. And then, the people who keep that going are the people who are able to either go live or create videos like you are, which are really engagement heavy videos that grab people's attention and really bring them in. Um, what else are you doing? Have you gone live before? Have you
I was just gonna tell you that. I
yeah,
just started going live.
okay.
So actually Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Um I'm
How's
going
that going?
live. So that has been a little different. Uh, Me doing the videos with the talking, you know, uh, instead of
Yeah.
putting the words up, I've been doing it as what I would type, voicing it. So that
Okay.
has helped me with going live.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, I've just started doing that. A little bit different. I do have another gal that we go live together, which is great too because I'm like you and I sitting here talking a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
You're right.
Um, but yeah, so that's one of the upcoming things that I'm heading to do. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of. I'm pumped because there's going to be a lot of new stuff happening in the next few months. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
And for everybody who's here, can you give a little hand clap emoji in the comments for Catherine going live? It's a really tough barrier to break through. Um, I think one of the main reasons that it's such a hard thing for people to push through that fear and get through is it's just it's such a vulnerable thing where there's no editing, there's nothing you can do. In every other case, you have some sort of delete button or
mhm.
an edit button or a filter or something.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I did a video. I sat out back, and that was probably 2 months ago. And I did the video.
Hmm.
My hair was all over the place, and blah, blah, blah. And I started off by saying, "Look, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to edit it. I want everyone to see that you actually can just do it."
Yeah.
And I did a video like that, um, which I think helped me with then just talking when I do my videos. Um, and that was that was a hard thing to do and put out there. That it didn't really matter. That's the whole thing is you've got to remember that you need to be you again. They want to see you. I'm not gonna. I messed up with talking, messed up, with the words, and I said I'm not editing it. You guys are going to see the raw me. You know,
Hmm.
and that's just a huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like for people to see that, for your followers, it's I don't know, it's big for both the creator, you,
Mhm.
and also big for the people watching, your followers, which I think is just a very cool thing. What
Yeah.
For people who are here who are, just getting started, who are let's think back to June or July, whenever that was when you started the challenge. You're like, okay, I got this challenge. I'm gonna defeat this challenge. They're getting in, they're starting to figure out, okay, here's how I could start this business, here's how I could get this all set up. What would you say to those people? I'll give you the final word in our episode today. What bits of advice, or you said that on your TikTok you've got some motivation, what motivation would you try to instill in people who are getting started, specifically maybe people who are 50, 55, getting near that retirement age and are a little like, I think I could do this.
Good. Well, it's really it's kind of easy as far as I'm concerned. You went ahead and you took that first step. Okay, now you're going through the challenge. So if you continue to keep motivating yourself, saying, okay, it's one day at a time, I can just continue to keep doing it. I'm going to get better. We're all going to make mistakes. You have to continue it's your mindset. You've got to keep your mindset on where you're looking and moving forward. And again, just because you're 20 or just because you're 80, you all can do the same thing. We can all dance if you want to dance. Some may dance better than others. Some may talk better than others. Some may write better than others, but we can all do it. You got to find yourself where you're best at and just keep going. Continue with, like you said, you're going through the 15-day challenge and you're thinking, oh man, am I going to be able to do this? Look, I had no clue how to, I'm not tech savvy at all. I am at all. But I continue each day to learn something new. If I don't learn something new, I am not growing. So I prefer not to know everything, So, again, you just got it. I'd love to help people with getting their mindset. If anybody wants to talk to me, absolutely shoot me a message.
Cool.
But when it comes, and I did a video on this too, or within a video, that with the age-wise, anybody out there, if you're a little bit older, we're a little bit wiser. So you take that into account and all the different things, at least for me, we're talking, 40s and older, we've been through a little bit more. So we're a little more cautious of what we're going to do.
Yep.
But if you look at what you've done and where you've been and where you are today, you know really where I want to step back and what I don't want to do. Yeah. Not that you're still not going to fail moving forward, but in a different way.
Powerful. Really, really powerful ideas. And yeah, wow. Isn't that interesting how just with a different set of glasses, what you did there? Just imagine like taking glasses off and putting glasses on, because how every person who's, let's say they're 50 years old or 60 years old, we've had people up to 82 years old come through and actually become successful on the online. There's sort of this stigma where it's like, oh, I must be behind. There must be something, that I don't get that a 22-year-old gets, all of this stuff, which is I'm less than, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't do this. Whatever it is. And just one sentence, you defeated that all by saying, we've been through a lot. We're a little wiser. We have a little bit more of, we have insight that other people don't. And I just think that that's really powerful that you use that to your advantage. And you see that as every business has things called unique selling points. This is a unique selling point of you and your business and why you're good at what you do. So, man, that was really powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I just want to take a step back real quick. You know how the young ones are on their phones and they're typing with their two fingers. So again, for me, it may take me 10 minutes or it might take them 2 minutes, but I can still do it. And so can you. It's just a matter of, how long. I mean, everyone does, no matter what it is they do, everyone does something different. Something may take you 2 minutes, that may take me an hour.
Yep.
But we can all do the same thing.
Yep.
And as long as you keep that focus of I can do it, maybe not in 10 minutes, but I can do it and do it.
Yeah. Yes. And, I talked with a retired couple that I've known for quite a few years who are really good digital marketers. back in 2020. And my suggestion was, hey, you really need to get on TikTok. And they're like, that's not really our thing. And I was like, you guys are smart marketer. You got to get on TikTok. They're like, it's not really my thing. It's not our thing. It's not what we do. And I was like, this is generational changing like stuff here. Trust me, you have to be on there. And they just never really did. And I always thought and always wondered, what would have happened if they did, if they took that opportunity, because they'd already had a successful business up until then. They're smart. They've been on videos, webinars, all kinds of trainings. And what my thought was, when you said it might take somebody who's 20 years old 2 minutes versus 10 minutes for you or somebody at your age, I think that the only difference there is for somebody who's, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I really believe this, for somebody who's, let's say they're 50 years old, 55 years old, and maybe it takes a little longer to kind of like navigate a phone or something. That's pretty normal. I think that they've really, if they're going to dive in, they've really got to become sort of crazy almost about mastering something like TikTok or mastering Instagram. It has to almost become like so intense and so maniacal. You have to become completely enthused by mastering the platform to where, you can start to speed that up a little bit. And it might just take a little bit of time and energy up front, but eventually you'll get to the point where you're as fast as anybody else.
Right. It used to take me an hour to do a video. I mean, I can do it in 10 minutes now.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You can do it.
And in the grand scheme, when you really think about it, in the grand scheme, that took you what, 4 or 5 months, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months. And to a lot of people, they can't even envision creating their first video, more or less being in the place where you're at now. Constantly generating leads and sales. And I would say to people who are, just like, oh my gosh, I could never figure this out. I could never do, 3 months might sound like an eternity, but the truth is it's a very short amount of time. And, or even, 5 months, 6 months of time. That's still a very short amount of time where you've built a really valuable skill, which is getting people's attention on the internet and figuring out how to grab people's attention, steer them in a direction and get them to do something. That's really powerful.
Right. Well, if you were starting, and this is what I tell people, if you were starting a coffee shop, you're not going to be successful in 3 months. I mean, it's gonna take you a while to get there. This is the same thing. You got to forget about, and it's hard to explain this to people so they understand it the right way. But you need to forget about all numbers. All numbers. It doesn't matter what numbers they are. Every single number you need to forget about and just focus on what you want to attract.
Yeah.
And that's really the bottom line of it. Doesn't matter what the number is, how many views, how many this, how much you make, any of that. None of that matters. You need to focus and spend those months, and it doesn't matter how many months. Spend those months focusing on what you need to do.
Yep, totally. Well, Catherine, thanks so much for all the wisdom and for the advice to everybody here. If you just look at the comments, you can tell how valuable this is for people. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. We'd love to have you back in a couple of months again. And
I'd love to, because I have new things coming.
All right, good. Well, let's reach out in 2 months or so, and we'll throw you back on the show and see what's new.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. All right, everybody, you can follow Catherine at chaseyourdreams.with.cas. So it's CAS at the end. So chase your dreams, all one word, .with.cas. And go give Catherine a follow. Let her know that you found her from Wake Up Legendary, and also just drop a comment. let Catherine know what was powerful about this episode. What did you find powerful about this episode? Because what it does is it gives more ideas for content, and it shows and reveals to Catherine what parts of her journey, story, etc., are really important and memorable to you. So we'll be back here again. We're live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We've been doing this for about 3 years now, and no end in sight. So we're always here. We've always got new guests and new stories on deck, and we'll be back here tomorrow with another great guest at 10 a.m. Eastern. See you, everybody. Have a great Wednesday.